The moment she settled in the seat beside me in that Manhattan restaurant, I instinctively knew the world had shifted. She was striking. A sleek dark gown, perfect complexion, eyes like polished onyx. She did not request permission. She simply occupied the chair, crossed her long legs, and declared it like issuing a final judgment. "Your spouse is seeing my husband." There was no tremor, no hesitation, just a sharpened blade placed calmly on the table. I continued breathing because men like me have learned how to endure pain silently. She leaned closer, her lips brushing my ear. "So forget about her. Join me for a genuine date instead." I did not pause to think. I did not bargain. I immediately agreed. And that was the point when I ceased being the hunted. I used to admire my wife's drive. She was magnetic. Sharp heels, a sharper intellect. A woman who converted conference rooms into personal domains. I genuinely believed loyalty operated both ways. So I provided her with everything. The house with its river views, the investment accounts, the professional connections. She pretended she had achieved it all by herself. Before the relationship fractured, there were mornings when she would hide her face against my shoulder, whispering she was exhausted, that she needed my presence. She had a habit of grasping my wrist as if fearing I might disappear. It is interesting what happens with fear. When people lose it, they reveal their true character. The late-night strategy meetings, the sudden locking of her mobile device, the expensive new fragrance she claimed was a complimentary gift from an influencer deal. I desperately wanted to accept her explanations. I compelled myself to believe her until the evening my laptop accidentally synchronized her. Cloud storage. The images were not dramatic, just hands, clothing, lips, arms, encircling her waist visible in a hotel mirror's reflection, the two of them smiling like partners in crime. She hadn't even bothered to remove the times. I stared at the display until morning, completely numb. Not shattered, just composed. Far too composed. Because anger is loud, but retribution is silent. Her name was Mary, the woman who sat next to me that night. The beautiful stranger who possessed the truth. Before I did, she was everything my wife aspired to be. Composed, graceful, dangerous. Her husband Scott was an ambitious, up-and-coming chief financial officer. Mine was a marketing executive with aspirations larger than his moral compass. They cheated because they assumed they could evade the consequences. We never allowed them to witness the trap closing. I did not confront my wife or him. I kissed her forehead, prepared her breakfast, and told her she was brilliant. I played the devoted husband while constructing the case. Financial records, asset transfers, signed legal documents. It took 4 months. Mary and I met every week. Fine dining restaurants, coffee houses, hotel lounges. People saw us let them. I desired witnesses. She did too. Every meeting was strategic. She would sit opposite me, legs crossed. Her voice low, outlining the next stages as though we were arranging a hostile takeover, not revenge, but justice quantified by numbers.com. She instructed me on methods for concealing wealth without leaving paper trails. I provided her with all the evidence. I had collected photographs, transaction receipts, mobile backups, recorded conversations. We compiled a file thicker than any legal manuscript, and then we waited. The initial strike targeted his career. A quiet tip to the audit committee. Documents forwarded anonymously. Bank transfers successfully traced. He was suspended pending investigation. No warning, no negotiation. My wife spent her evenings comforting him, believing she was his savior. She held him while he cried, completely unaware of the peril. Beneath their shared illusion, I smiled while preparing her tea. The day I finally acted, I selected her birthday. She adored theatrics. She loved being the center of attention in every gathering. So I reserved a table at a rooftop venue, the kind with live jazz and dazzling skyline views over Los Angeles. She arrived wearing emerald satin and radiating self-importance, thinking the entire evening was dedicated to her. It was just not in the way she anticipated. I waited until the dessert course. I presented her with an envelope. She opened it, her eyebrows rising at the complex legal jargon she barely comprehended. The prenuptial agreement she had signed 9 years ago, suddenly, critically important. The infidelity clause emphasized in gold. Photographs neatly printed and time-stamped. Her lips parted. No sound emerged. Then she noticed the table directly behind her. Mary was seated there, legs crossed, smiling faintly. Beside her were 2 attorneys, mine and hers. My wife glanced back and forth between us, her confusion rapidly escalating into terror. "I thought you loved me," she whispered. I leaned near without smiling. Love is not a license to exploit people. Her hands began to tremble. She pleaded for privacy, for respect, for a second chance. I offered her silence. She fled the room devastated without making a single sound. Scott disintegrated more quickly. The audit became a full criminal investigation. His mistress, my wife, vanished from his life the moment. He could no longer provide promotions and extravagant holidays. When he called Mary to weep, she activated the speakerphone, allowing me to listen. A pathetic man begging for mercy. She did not reply. She only chuckled softly before ending the call. They believed they had discovered passion in secrecy. They discovered severe consequences instead. Months passed. Documents were signed. Assets were correctly allocated. I retained the house. She departed with nothing but her luxury luggage. One evening, I was seated on the balcony, a glass of bourbon in my hand. Mary joined me. The sky was deeply bruised with the last light of sunset. She rested her head on my shoulder. "You never asked why I told you," she remarked. "I didn't need to ask," I responded. I turned to look at her curious. She smiled. "Because you are the type of man who does not allow pain to be wasted, and I wanted a partner worthy of me. Not a fling, but a genuine alliance." It was not love. Not yet. It was respect forged from the remnants of destruction. The world considers revenge a brief moment. They are wrong. It is a profound change. I do not regret agreeing to join her that night. I do not regret what we accomplished. The finest choices of your life are those that eliminate the person you used to be and allow you to watch your betrayers perish in the inferno they ignited. I walked away with my identity, my future, and my power, entirely whole. They walked away with nothing, and I slept peacefully.